want to introduce Christy, who is a representative at Retirement Solution Group, and she's going to help with all the changes that we've got going on with our 401k plan. So I will go ahead and let you take it over, Christy. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen, and I am sorry for all the technical difficulties. Hopefully, if anyone is dialed in but cannot get to the web portion, what you should do is open up a new browser and go to www.gotomeeting.com. You're going to see a button that says Join a Meeting, and the access code, the same code as what you use to dial in, is 485-601-277. Okay, so again, go to gotomeeting.com, access code, after you hit Join Meeting, it's 485-601-277. Okay, so thank you all for joining me today. What we are going to cover at this meeting is what's been in process for the last couple of weeks. Hopefully you all received notifications at your home from AmCheck. The 401k plan through AmCheck that you're all in is undergoing what they call plan conversion, and that's simply a vendor change. So it's going to be moving from John Hancock over to Transamerica. So that's what we'll be covering today. Some of the reasons for the change, the timeline involved, and the action steps that you will each need to take in order to get this conversion completed. Okay. Of course, if there are any questions along the way, this is a great casual button. Just holler them out, and we'll handle them as we go. Okay. So hopefully, you know, all of the main contacts, so in this case, Karen, you know, back in November, received this notification. As an adopter of the AmCheck Midwest plan, you know, Karen's in charge of running kind of the macro level. I'm in charge of helping each of you with your questions on the 401k, how to do this, whether you should do that, you know, things like that. But the trustees of the plan, as well as the fiduciaries from our company, their job is to make sure that the plan itself is competitive, both from a fee structure as well as an investment offering platform. So they started looking, I'd say in the beginning of 2015, at other companies out there, kind of like how you would shop out your home insurance or maybe your car insurance every couple of years, just to make sure that you're getting the best offerings at the best price. So they took the AmCheck plan out to the market and basically came back with some better products at better pricing. So we gave John Hancock the opportunity to counterbid, and they did come back, you know, with a slightly lower fee, but in the end, the trustees felt that moving the plan from John Hancock to Transamerica was in the best interest of all the account holders, so you guys, because of the wider options for funds, so all of the investments that you have access to, there's wider diversification now being offered. The actual cost will be dropped compared to what you all are paying now, and there's actually better customization abilities since there's many, many adopters. So Providence is just one of the adopters of the AmCheck plan. There are many, many adopters. So the ability to customize the reporting and the access for Providence is going to improve, okay? So that was the letter. Hopefully, you know, you all find that the move to Transamerica will be smooth and that you will have access to better funds and just, you know, use the plan 100%. Okay. So this is the Transamerica enrollment packet, okay? It is a 32-page document, which I will not keep all of you today going over 32 pages. But there is a lot of good information in here, similar to the John Hancock plan, which you can go over, and I can send this out to you guys afterwards if you don't already have a hard copy. Hold on a second here. I'm not seeing your screen. Let me know. Okay. Hopefully you see my screen now. So here is the packet. If you see a packet like this, you know it's from Transamerica. Basically what we're going to cover are the important action steps, okay? What you're each going to need to do in the next, I'd say, week to week and a half is go on to the Transamerica website, and you can see it here. It's ta-retirement.com, and get yourself enrolled. Okay, so your accounts should all be set up, by the latest at year end, so that once the money is ready to transfer from John Hancock, then it will have a place to go at Transamerica. Okay, here is let's see. There is a step-by-step. Here. So enrolling, there is a step-by-step instruction page in the packet. So basically you will all be first-time users. You're going to register. You're going to enter in your social security number, your date of birth, and your zip code, and then create your own unique user ID and password. That way, once you put that into the system, it's going to match up with Transamerica on the back end, all of the information that's already been loaded. So you will have an account set up and ready to go. As soon as the flip is switched, so in terms of new contributions, I don't have a confirmation on that date yet, but on a certain day, that switch will flip. Your contributions will go from John Hancock to Transamerica. And this will probably be before the big transfer will come over, okay? So if you log in and you're only seeing small amounts deposits, don't panic. The transfer usually takes 2 to 3 weeks to get done. So make sure you go online and enroll, okay? We're going to go further down in this packet and start talking about the investments that you have access to. And of course, if for some reason your computer goes down, you can enroll by telephone. So there's the 800 number, English or Spanish, and then basically you can do all of the same functions, personalize your PIN, set your deferral and your contribution rate. What I always try to teach, or rather I nag, because I'm a mom, I like to nag, that everyone do an increase annually of at least 1 to 2% towards their 401k. So every year, usually in January, because that's when people like to review their benefits and make changes and things like that. If you could make a 1% increase to your 401k, that means that you are, number one, you're keeping pace with inflation, and then number two, if you're one of the lucky people who do get pay raises every year, I'm not, but I still do the 1% increase, you're not going to feel that money too much out of pocket. Okay, it's going to be a fairly small amount, especially if you are contributing on a pre-tax basis. That money, that extra 1%, is going to help you get to that 12% target that the government, the Department of Labor, the IRS, all the government entities are saying that every American has to save between 10 to 12% of their salary each year to help hit their retirement goals. Okay, so obviously 10 to 12% is a large amount, but you do not have to start at that point. You can start at wherever you're starting at, if that's 4%, if that's 5%, and if you do an annual increase of 1%, then you're going to hit that 12% pretty soon. And don't forget, your company is making a contribution as well, so that gets you even quicker to the 12%. Okay, so as part of your enrollment, you're going to set your deferral / contribution rate, and then you're going to set up your investment. And of course, it's going to ask you to update your beneficiary, even if nothing has changed and it's the same person who's listed as beneficiary. You know, you really should just renew that information. Okay. If anything happens to you, you know, we will need to know where the money needs to go. Okay. Any questions at this point? You can either type it into the chat box or you can unmute your phone.
Christy, I'm just going to do a quick little plug that our match is 2%, a maximum. So if I recommend at least putting in 4% if you can, and that way you're maximizing the company match and getting as much as you can out of that. So I always recommend people at least minimum of 4%. And we are unique, and Christy could probably confirm for this, we have 100% immediate vesting, which is not that common in all sorts of 401k plans. So we really have a great opportunity for you to get as much of the match as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Karen's right. Vesting schedules, if you don't know what that is basically you have to work for the company for a certain number of years to get 100% of what they put in. So if a vesting schedule says you have to work for the company for 6 years before you get the money, and you leave in year 5, then you get, you get less than 100%, whatever the schedule says. So number 1, Providence, very generous vesting schedule, and I can say number 2, but don't tell anyone else I said this. Providence is the only adopting employer under Amtrak that puts in a company contribution. Again, don't repeat that, although this is being recorded, so just don't repeat it out. So don't leave money on the table. The match is something that should be a no-brainer. You should maximize that and go beyond. Okay? Any other questions? Put it in the chat box, unmute your phone. Okay. All right, then. Let's go back. This is where the fun part starts. Oh, question from Lisa.
Nope. I didn't say that. It wasn't me.
You change your contributions at any time. It was Suzanne.
I don't know why I'm under you, Lisa.
I don't either. That's okay.
I just
find some money for me, Suzanne.
I know. I logged in and it said me, Lisa. I'm like, that's not me.
So it's a good question. You want to know when you can change the contribution rate, right?
Yeah.
Going by memory, is it quarterly, Karen? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it the first day of each quarter?
The entry is the first of the quarter, but I believe you can change it, and then as soon as it's administratively possible, it feeds into payroll, and the changes are there.
Yeah, I thought so.
But entries are first of every quarter. So if you are not in the plan now and you're eligible, let's go January 1. Let's get it going.
Yep.
And then if I see that I'm, doing well and I want to increase it from 4 to 5, 5 to 6, I can do that at any time, correct?
Yeah, and it is a feed that goes once you do it there, and I'm assuming, Christy, it'll do the same feed that John Hancock did.
Okay.
To payroll, is that correct?
Yeah, so when you go onto the Transamerica site, it'll be similar. There will be a link to change my contributions. Once you put that through, the email will go to Amtrak, who handles your payroll, and then that'll be put in.
Okay.
Question from Lynn, if you have not previously enrolled, can you sign up now? Absolutely. That's the whole point. I want everyone who's not already in, or maybe you opted out, to get in now. It's the perfect opportunity to start here fresh. Anyone who needs help because you have not had a prior meeting with me, feel free to call me. I can give you my email, my cell phone. Karen has all my information also. So this is a great time to get in. Okay. If there are no other questions, let's start talking about these investments. So looking at the screen now, you should be seeing a worksheet. And Transamerica has a similar layout for their funds. They have managed portfolios, which is the target date series, as well as the individual fund options, which are color-coded by risk and asset class. So let's start talking about these target date series. So Vanguard is the manager for the target date series. And you can see that there are many, many portfolios that go in 5-year increments, okay? So if you are already a retiree, which I don't think anyone here is, you would be the first, second, or the third portfolio. So you've already retired. The year there is the estimated year of retirement, okay? So if it was for me, I'm 40 years old, so I've got 25, let's say 30 years to work. So my targeted retirement year would be 2045 or 2050 if I'm not doing so good. So these portfolios will take your age right now, and they know what your age is because they have your date of birth, and manage it according to the number of years you have until that targeted retirement year. So for me, even though I'm 40, I'm not young, I still have 25 or 30 years in the market going to the 2050 portfolio. So the managers are going to be pretty aggressive with my contributions. But as I get closer to the year 2050, it's going to get more and more conservative, knowing that when I hit age 65 or 70, I'm going to need that money. So this is a good place to go either if you want it to go on autopilot and you just want someone to manage the account, make the trades, know what's going on in the market. You never have to touch it again unless your retirement date changes by 5 years or more. Okay? So this is kind of the autopilot way of doing it. If you are one of those people who love to follow the markets and you have created your own portfolio with John Hancock, here are the individual fund options. Okay, the green funds, there's only one of them. It's the stable value fund. So this is where you would go if you wanted to temporarily park your money in something stable. Okay, just like the name says, it's stable. You're not going to make money. You're probably not going to lose money. You just want it parked there temporarily. So we had a lot of people back in 2008 who panicked and wanted their money out of the investments. They moved it into stable value and left it there until they felt it was time to move back into the market. Okay? Be forewarned, if you move your money into the stable value, you have to know and keep track of when to move the money back. Okay? The worst thing you can do is move your money into stable value during a period of market decline and then just totally forget to move it back into the market when the rally happens. So I have many, many people who moved it into stable value in 2008, got busy, sold their house, had kids, got divorces, whatever, and they've totally missed out on the market recovery. So what actually happened is they locked in their losses in 2008 versus the people who left their money in their investments. Everyone came back to where they were and even better. So just be cautious about that, okay? The orange funds are bonds, as you can see, intermediate term and government bonds. So these are on the low risk side, obviously, if that's what you're looking at. Of course, there's been discussion about interest rate changes like for the past 3 years. Most of the institutions believe that we are looking at a rate hike pretty soon, like Q1 of next year. So just keep in mind that piece of information for the bonds. The red funds are aggressive bonds, okay? So these would be funds that buy bonds, companies that are up and coming, maybe they're creating new technologies, new medicines, and they're paying much higher yields. So that's a higher risk bond in return for a higher return. So you have to understand the risk-return relationship. Higher risk, higher return. Lower risk, lower return, okay? So when you compare the red bonds to the orange bonds, obviously the red bonds on average are going to have higher returns than the orange bonds. But you take more of a risk by investing in the red bonds, okay? The world / foreign bond category is the AB Global Bond Fund. So that will invest in different companies which are overseas. So if you have a strategy of investing overseas, but maybe you're a little nervous about buying stocks and you want to go bonds, that would be the fund to look at, okay? And then the dark blue and the light blue sections are all stocks. So large company stocks, middle size, and then the small company stocks are all listed there. International stocks, there's 3 of them, and people have different feelings about investing internationally right now, especially with everything that's going on politically and with the battle against terrorism and all that stuff. It's making people nervous. From an investment perspective, obviously no one can ever have a crystal ball and predict what is going to happen next year or even next month. But what we do know is that markets always act in cycles. So they go up, they go down, and then they go back to where they started. And these cycles typically last, 5 to 7 years. So if you are someone who is 20s, 30s, 40s, even 50s, you still have many market cycles to ride out, okay? The markets were completely devastated, 9/11. But after a full market cycle, we were back where we were, and then we kept moving, and then another market cycle in 2008. So try not to take, too much caution in terms of what's happening in the immediate, here and now, because what will happen by the time you retire, you hit retirement age, is going to be a drastically different world. And the game is that you buy it now at a low price, but you sell it later at a high price. So what that means is right now, I actually want these funds to be performing badly. And that's completely counterintuitive to what you may think, feel, and do. But just to simplify it, if there was a sale on Kleenex at the local drugstore or toilet paper, people would buy as many boxes and packages as they possibly could fit in their cart, because that is something that they will 100% know that they'll need and use. Same idea with these investments. When you're buying things now, you want them to be on sale because you're buying more in quantity. So if you're putting in $100 a month and a share costs $10, then that month you're buying 10 shares. You own 10 shares. If the following month your $100 goes into the market, but now the market's not doing well, that same share is only worth $5 now. Your $100 now buys 20 shares. Okay, it's the same share as what you bought the prior month, but now you just bought it on sale. So now the game is, let's see how much I can make that $5 share grow, and let's see if I can sell it when it's worth now $25 when I'm retiring. So that's the idea. Try not to take too much to heart in terms of the daily news. The news is there to get your attention, and sometimes it's just, it's not meant for 401k account holders, because 401k people, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. You're not trying to make money on a day-to-day basis. This is a long-term strategy. So the last category here is the multi-asset / other category sector funds. If anyone is interested in specific sectors, so BlackRock Health Sciences, we have a lot of people that I work with who work in the health sciences field, and they want to invest in the field they work in. You know, here's a great opportunity. Science and technology, you know, we're never going to go back in terms of our reliance on technology and science. You know, this is a fund that's had a very up and down history, but if you believe that science and technology is going to be here to stay, which obviously I do, you know, this might be a good place to invest. Same thing with utilities. You know, obviously our reliance on all of that will never change. Okay, so those are all of the investments. I'm going to go down to the performance sheet just to show you and maybe review how you read that information, because it's important to know the track record of each of these funds, but most importantly, you know, as a participant in a 401k plan, as an investor, you know, you're going to try to do as much research as you can. This is one place to look. So again, all of the funds are listed by those color coding categories, and you're just going to read from left to right. The first column is just the name of the investment, and then the middle columns with all the numbers are the performance histories. Okay, so year to date is the first column, the last quarter is the second column, and then the 1, 3, and 5 year and 10-year numbers are going to give you the biggest picture in terms of how each of these funds have performed over time. Okay. Let's see. So this section here with all the negatives, you can see short term, but when you look at the 3, 5, and 10 years, you're looking at, you know, pretty decent histories. So let's talk a little bit about that last column on the right, the expense ratio. For those of you who have been on meetings with me before, you know that our philosophy is full fee disclosure. Okay, don't let anyone tell you that this plan is free, that investments don't cost anything. That is just not true. Okay, expense ratios are the percentage of the return that you get that goes back to the manager. Okay, so if you are looking at, let's say, that first fund there on the screen, the SSGA S&P Mid-Cap Index, the expense ratio is 0.79%. Okay, so each year, if you are in that fund, you are paying 0.79% to SSGA, the money manager, to manage the account, to make the trades, to know when to buy, know when to sell, et cetera, okay? So if you have $1,000 in that fund, then $7.90 out of that $1,000 is going to go pay for those fees. This comes netted out of your return. So if you have a positive return for the year, let's say you get 10% from that fund in 1 year, then you're going to get the 10 minus 0.79. You get the net of the return. Now, if in another year you get minus 10 on that return, then your return is going to be minus 10.79, and SSGA will still get their 0.79. So, you know, they get paid no matter what the markets are doing, but it is in everyone's interest for them to get high performance numbers. Okay? Any questions on the fees? Okay. And you can see when you get into the sector funds here, the health sciences, science and technology, you get some pretty big negative numbers, and then you get some pretty big positive numbers. Okay, so that's what I meant when I said higher risk, higher return. You need to be someone who's comfortable with swings, comfortable with doing well one quarter but maybe not doing well another, but knowing that overall you have many, many, many years to ride out the volatility, and that fast forward 30, 35 years, you're going to be making money on this thing. Okay. And then the last part of the booklet kind of is just a write-up. If you wanted a short description of each of these funds and what their investment objectives are, this would be a good place to start. Of course, if you wanted the full 50-page prospectus, you can just go to any financial website, CNN, Yahoo, Finance, plug in these names, and then it'll give you the full write-up on it. Okay. So that is the Transamerica platform. When you go into the participant site, you're going to notice that they have a strong emphasis on participant education. So you'll be able to do all kinds of retirement calculators. You can take classes online, learn about estate planning. You can take classes on women in finance. It really is, there's a deep library of resources, and this is another reason why the trustees really liked moving the plan to Transamerica, is the options and the resources that it gives you guys. Okay, I'm always here as a resource. I could probably give you 15 different websites to go to also in addition. But Transamerica does a great job in terms of telling you whether you're on track to hit your retirement goal, or if you're going to be short and have to work longer or increase your contributions. It really is an interactive program. Okay, so January 12th is the blackout date. You should have all received an 8-page blackout notice from Amcheck, which assumes that your accounts with John Hancock will remain invested. You can make any changes you want right up until January 12th. Okay? If you want to make any changes, do it now. Okay? Because as of January 12th, your accounts will be frozen. Getting ready to move to Transamerica on the 15th of January. If for some reason you're unable to enroll, or if there's anybody who did not call in, this is info for you, Karen, that's fine. They'll be transferred to Transamerica along with everyone else. They'll be put into those Vanguard Target Retirement Date series automatically according to their year of birth and according to their estimated retirement age of 67. So that will automatically happen. So that's called the Qualified Default Investment Alternative. So if for some reason you guys get really busy and flake on enrolling, no worries. Take care of it in the new year. Still go through and register. Just make sure that the investment that you want, even if it is Vanguard, the target retirement date that you've been put in, if that's what you want, that's fine, leave it. But do everything else. Update your beneficiary, create your user ID, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? If you have any loans on this plan, don't worry, that will automatically transfer over. The payments obviously will stay the same, but now will be posted against your Transamerica account. Quarterly statements, you will continue to get those obviously from Transamerica and not John Hancock, but you will receive a final statement from John Hancock. It will be the Q1 statement, and that will show a zeroing out of your balance at John Hancock, and that balance will match with the starting balance, the wire transfer in to Transamerica. Okay? Any questions for me at this point? let me put in my email and information on the chat box if anybody wants to send me a note.
Christy, I just have a question. I want to just confirm if I'm contributing, let's say 5% now,
Yep.
Will that continue even if I forget to go on and enroll?
Yes, it will stay the same. It will, yeah, it won't just transfer over if you don't enroll.
Okay.
Yep. But I know you want to do 6, so.
Oh, I know.
Christy, this is Lisa. I have another question. I'm sure it's either the retirement age, it says 100%. You cannot say, I want to do 50% in an aggressive fund and 50% in that, right? It has to be all or nothing.
No, you can do that. So,
okay.
Yeah, actually that's a really common way of, you know, having a portion of your account managed, so it gives you that peace of mind. Let's say you want 50% in a target retirement date, but now with the other, you like, you know, let's say that health sciences fund sounds good and utilities, you can put percentages of the remaining 50% in any other fund. So.
Okay, all right.
Okay, Cynthia, is your company also handling the Roth IRA or just the 401k? We are handling the Roth 401k. So most of you, I believe, are doing the traditional 401k contribution. That is a pre-tax deduction. So if you contribute $100 pre-tax, then $100 gets put into your 401k. You're deferring income taxes on it until you retire and take that money out. Okay, when you turn 67 or whatnot and pull the money out, that $100 you put in is now worth $500. You pay taxes on the $500, but at the retiree tax bracket that you're in at that point in time. The Roth 401k is the opposite. So if you contribute $100 on a Roth basis, then that $100 is going to be taxed at your current tax rate. So if you are paying 25% in taxes, then your $100 is going to be split up into $25 in taxes goes to the IRS reported, $75 goes into your Transamerica account and grows in that account forever untaxed again. So if that $75 grows into $350 when you're 67 years old, that whole $350 is yours. You're not paying taxes on it again. So when you go through and enroll on Transamerica to the section where it says, you know, select your contribution rate, you'll see a pre-tax as well as a Roth line. You can break it up. You can do one or the other. You can do a combination. Providence matches on both. Doesn't matter, okay? So Roth is just another option. If you find yourself in a favorable, a low tax bracket, you know, this year or next year, and you want to lock in the tax rate, you should go for it. And if you work with accountants or anybody who does your taxes, ask them that question if it makes more sense to do Roth or traditional. And that can be changed at any time also. Anybody else with questions?
Hi, Christy. I have a question with Lana.
Hi, Lana.
Hey, if we are currently on the aggressive plan for, you know, based upon our age, when you guys roll it over from John Hancock, will you guys give us an evaluation if we should change what is currently from John Hancock and go more aggressive? Will you guys evaluate that for us, or is that something that we should do on our own?
No, you can certainly call me. I can look up all of your accounts on John Hancock, or if you have your latest statement and you tell me what you're in, I can let you know what the closest, and of course is not going to be a direct equivalent.
Sure.
But if you want, yeah, if you tell me I'm looking to maybe bump the risk level up one. So if you're going from a lifestyle, let's say moderate at John Hancock, and you say, you know, I think I really need a little boost. I want to go up in a risk level, but I still like the managed aspect of that portfolio. What you can do is look at the Vanguard retirement date portfolios, but bump yourself back 5 years from what you would normally do.
Okay.
So, yeah, so you get that extra 5 years of investment time, a little bit more, aggressive portfolio by 5 years.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anybody else? Okay. Karen, can you confirm if you've received any packets at your office?
Yeah, we have received a couple of things, but we have not received this big 32-page document that you have.
Okay.
We've received a few other, we received the actual enrollment form at our homes. We also received the information about the blackout period. But yeah, it's this 32-page document that has the different cost structures for the funds. If you could send that to me, I will make sure it is uploaded onto our website. We have a separate page for 401k, and I've put everything that we have on that, and I'll add this big document as well.
Perfect. So you've already posted the enrollment form.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
It's already there.
Perfect. So for everyone on the phone, the list of the funds is already, if for some reason you prefer to fill out paper and send it in, that's completely fine. You just download the form from your internal site and, get it over to Karen or to myself. But I will get the PDF version of this kit sent over to you guys. It may look slightly different because you guys are automatic enrollment, but all of the information will be the same, okay? But we'll get it over to you.
Great. Great.
Okay.
And then, Christy, just confirm, we really can't go onto the Transamerica Retirement website until you said the end of the year?
You can register for it anytime. So I'd say take a few days right now while the information from this meeting is fresh in your head. Do the registration, and once you're registered, you'll be able to go in and do the tools and the calculators and the classes. You just won't see any money deposited until the switch is flipped.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah, and I assume John will let us know when that payroll change, when that change will be, whether it's the new year. It just really depends on when John Hancock will stop taking monies.
Right.
And yeah, so it'll be sometime 1st of January.
Very good. Thank you so much, Christy, for your time, and thank you, everybody. This recording will be uploaded as soon as it's, confirmed, and then we'll get it on our website as well.
Great. Thanks, Karen. Let me know if anyone else has questions. Shoot me an email, give me a call. I'd be happy to talk to you individually.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.